So it looks like the Israeli government may have accepted a ceasefire and hostage release deal with Hamas. Bibi Netanyahu is only doing this because of all the protests going on in Israel. You have tons of Israelis protesting against Bibi over his lack of action on releasing hostages, as well as people upset about the idea of killing hostages. And Biden is only in favor of a ceasefire. And the same reason, you got tons of people protesting against Biden over his support of the genocide by the Israeli government. And he is dropping in approval ratings. He knows his only way to possibly save himself is to be in favor of a ceasefire.
Well, as the Israel-Hamas war rages on today, a senior U.S. official says Israel has broadly accepted a new 6-week ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza. The proposal is now being reviewed by Hamas. This comes as the U.S. military completed its first airdrop of humanitarian aid into Gaza. The UN warns the situation there.
I know Biden is going to use the news to make it seem like he's the good guy for having dropped into Gaza, but let's not forget here, he's the one who's been defending the Israeli government, who's been doing everything they can to starve the Palestinian people by destroying their infrastructure and denying aid into Gaza. So it's just a PR stunt by Biden. Um, it's just, in my opinion, quite hilarious how pathetic it is, and it's obvious.
Is deteriorating with hundreds of thousands of people on the verge of starvation. CBS 2's Christian Benavides has the details.
On Saturday, a senior U.S. official said Israel had essentially agreed to a framework of a deal, which would see some Israeli hostages held by Hamas freed in exchange for a 6-week pause to the fighting. It's something the Biden administration has been pushing for.
Pushing for it? In the last week or so, he's been pushing for a ceasefire. Any other time people were wanting a ceasefire, Biden would criticize them for that.
I'm hoping so. We're still working real hard at it. Not there yet.
It comes as new images show one of the first airdrops of humanitarian assistance into Gaza by the U.S. 66 bundles of food and water, meant to provide 38,000 meals, a small dent for residents in the territory where 500,000 people are facing acute starvation, according to the UN.
The truth is,
I bet if Biden told Bibi that the Israeli government wouldn't get any more funding or defense by the United States unless aid was allowed into Gaza, we would be able to get aid into Gaza. But Biden wants to do this this theater of airdropping aid into Gaza so he can pretend that he cares about the Palestinian people.
aid flowing to Gaza is nowhere nearly enough. Now, it's nowhere nearly enough. Innocent lives are on the
Yeah, it's nowhere near enough because it's your ally that is preventing aid from getting into Gaza. The ally you have been defending since the beginning.
line, and children's lives are on the line.
The U.S. has joined Jordan. The country already conducted airdrops to the territory. Dave Hardin, a former USAID mission director in Gaza and the West Bank, warns airdrops could come with more risk than results.
A very risky undertaking. It's also not going to be anywhere sufficient to meet the needs of the people in Gaza. And more to the point, it's frustrating in the sense that the Israelis aren't opening more crossings that would allow for greater throughput.
President Biden says the
Yeah, because Bibi doesn't want the Palestinian people to get any kind of aid, because part of the plan is to indirectly kill Palestinians by starvation, lack of medical care, and various other things people need to live.
The U.S. would put pressure on Israel to facilitate more truck deliveries